Hey everyone, so here are 5 do's for betas. First one is do use an appropriate sized fish tank. I would recommend at least a 5-gallon tank. Other people might recommend 2.5, other people might recommend a 10. I would highly recommend at least a 5-gallon tank for your beta fish. For example, this is the 5-gallon Aqueon mini bowl. This would be perfect for a beta. You can see I have a little baby guppy in there. The second do is use a heater. Betas need in the upper 70s or so, mid to upper 70s in Fahrenheit for their water temperature. So do use a heater. For some reason, there is that idea that betas do not need heaters. Of course, if your beta water gets too low, then you can stress your fish out, which can cause sicknesses and even death. So I highly recommend using a heater. So please do use a heater. Third do here is use a filter, just not too strong of a filter. A lot of betas are not the best of swimmers, especially when they are long-finned. The short-finned betas are better at swimming than long-finned betas. But do use a filter. Just again, make sure it's not too strong for them. If your fish is being pushed around, that means your filter is too strong. Or if your fish is hiding all the time, then most likely, again, your current's just too strong for your filter. So either turn it down if you can, or get yourself a different filter. But do get a filter, because of course it will help keep your tank nice and clean. Yes, beta fish do breathe air from the surface, but they still need a filter to help keep their tank clean and aerated. The fourth do here is do water changes. Again, just because they can breathe air from the surface doesn't mean they do not need a clean tank here. So do appropriate water changes. Use a water gravel siphon and dig around into your gravel or your substrate and get rid of all the nasty food and poop and whatnot that has been built up. So do water changes. Again, just helps keep your tank nice and clean. I should do them at least once every other week or once a week. Every other week is perfect though. In the very least, you gotta do it at least once a month. Again, it helps keep your tank nice and clean. And of course, the more fish you have in your tank, the more often you should be doing water changes. If you have a 20-gallon long tank and you only have one beta in it, you're not going to have to do a water change as often as if you had 10 fish in that 20-gallon tank. But do water changes with an actual gravel siphon. It just helps keep your tank nice and clean and your fish nice and healthy. And then number 5 here is do choose appropriate beta tank mates. Not all fish can live with betas. Again, there is that myth that betas cannot live with any other fish whatsoever. That is true if your tank is way too small. I would not recommend putting a beta in with other fish. If you have anything less than a 10-gallon tank, maybe even a 20-gallon tank. 10-gallon might even be too small depending on what fish you have and your fish's personalities. But if you get like a 20-gallon long, like I have over here, you should be able to get away with having other fish in with your beta. But again, make sure they are appropriate tank mates. Do not be putting a beta in with Oscars. There are idiots out there that do that. And then, of course, their fish gets eaten. And they, for some reason, think it's funny. I know there's some YouTube videos on that. At least there used to be. Those people are horrible. But just make sure your beta is in with appropriate fish. So usually you do not want anything that's too flashy. Fish that have too long of fins, especially in with male betas, because they might think the other fish is another male beta and try to attack them for their territory and get territorial over the other fish. But then also, if you, especially again with longer fin betas, do not be putting in like barbs or other nippy fish. A lot of tetras are also nippy fin nippers. So barbs and tetras are usually, depending on the tetra, but a lot of them are fin nippers. So again, just make sure the other fish is appropriate to use with your beta. And of course, do keep an eye on them and make sure no one's attacking anyone else. You do not want dead fish or scared fish, unhealthy fish. So yeah, there are 5 do's for betas. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you all have a good one. I'll see you guys next time. I appreciate ya. Goodbye.